Good morning, guys. So, this is my new YouTube channel and it's about palmistry. So, what I'm aiming for is I want everyone to know that they can read their palms. It's not that difficult. You just need to learn some basic methods and some basic understanding about the palm so you can know what destiny holds for you, and if you have any problem, and if there is any blessings in your life, you will know it, you will understand it through palmistry. So today on this video I'll be sharing about the mounds. The mounds are the most important thing in palmistry. Now, why do I say that? The mounds determine what type of person you are. Now, the mounds can be of three types. It can be underdeveloped, it can be overdeveloped, and it can be well developed. Now, underdeveloped and overdeveloped mounds are not good for you, but well developed mounds, that's what we have to aim for. Well developed mounds. Now, some people may have some of the mounds that are well developed and some of them are underdeveloped. That doesn't mean that you can't develop, or you can't make the underdeveloped mounds well developed. You just have to know which are the underdeveloped mounds. That means you're lacking some skills in your life, so you have to make over it. So basically I'm drawing a palm over here. Sorry about my drawing. So yeah, there you go. Now, so basically I'm talking about the mounds today. So we have our heart line, headline, and our lifeline. Okay, so wait a minute, let me rub it off. Okay, there you go. So about the mounds, this over here that covers the area, you can see this line. These three lines are the most common lines. Okay, these three lines are the most common lines. This is the headline, hard line, and the lifeline. So this area which I am drawing it again, you can see it, see the one that I am drawing again and again, that is the lifeline. Okay, the area where the lifeline covers is called the Mount of Venus. Okay, this is such an important mount because it says about the luxuries in your life, the comfort in your life, and what type of personality you are, and also about your sexuality. So all those aspects cover within the Mount of Venus. Okay, now above the Mount of Venus there is another mount which is called Mars Mount. Okay, there are three other Mars mounts. I'll talk about that later. So above the Venus mount is the Mars mount. Now this Mars mount relates to your aggression, okay, your anger, and to your courage, all those type of things. That's what the Mars mount represents. Now coming to the next mount, this area, this is your index finger, okay, and this area, draw a line over here just between that finger. Yeah, this area is called the Mount of Jupiter. This is called the Mount of Jupiter. Okay, now what does Jupiter holds? Jupiter holds, and it tells you about your teaching skills, your leadership skills, your intelligence, and about the how social you are. All those aspects are within the Jupiter mount. The leadership qualities are really meant within the Jupiter mount, so keep that in mind. Okay, Now the next mount that we are moving on, the one I'm drawing it over here, okay, this mount, okay, this mount is called the Saturn. Okay, the Saturn is also called a cruel planet because it's kind of a strict planet. What do I mean by the strict planet? Because usually Saturn refers to something, it is good and it is the one of the most important mounts within your palm. The reason why it is called a cruel planet is because it only give you the benefits if you have any good signs in your palm. It will only give you the benefits if you are a good, if you have a good personality, or if you do good karma in your life. That means then Saturn will give its benefit, and when Saturn gives the benefit of it, it's way much better than any mounts or any favorable mounts could give you. But it is really hard to get a blessing from Saturn, but once you get it, it's so amazing, it's so tremendous, it's such an amazing blessing in your life. And also the negative side of Saturn is it's also called a cruel planet. If something goes bad, if you're a bad person, and Saturn really does shows bad things for you, and you really don't need that in your life, so keep that in mind. Now the next mount that I'm talking about is under your ring finger. This is your ring finger, okay, and this mount is called the Sun mount. Now this is also an important mount. Now this generally doesn't relate to money. It does, but not that much of the other mounts. What it really mean by this mount is that it represents about your fame, your name and fame on socially, how good personality you are, how a better person you are among the others. All the name and fame factors, like if you have a really good Sun mount, and if you have really good signs in Sun mount, that means you could be a celebrity that could be known all over the places, maybe all around the world. So that's what Sun mount is, and it's really good mount. It's usually really good signs in the Sun mount are seen within the celebrity hands. Okay, the next mount is the Mercury mount. Okay, this is the Mercury mount. Now Mercury mount mainly talks about, or mainly tells us about, that person's communication. Now whether his communication is good, whether his communication is bad, how good he can interact with others, how good he is with other people, can he speak really good, like for an example, sales, the people who are in sales, like how good their sales pitch can be. Like if you're going to buy something like for $3 or $5, and if you approach a salesman, he might make you buy $20 or $50 purchase. That's how good his communication skills are. And it's not only about salesmen, about could talk about people who are in a teaching field, and etc. There are so many aspects to it, but this Mercury mount is all about communication. And also it tells you about marriage, how your marriage will be, how good you have a good marriage, how deep will your marriage will be, and all those things. Now under the Mercury mount, there's one more Mars mount over here. Okay, this is Mars mount. This mount under the Mercury mount, this area is called the Mars mount. Okay, so it also tells about your aggression and your courage and everything. And there is little bit difference between the both Marses. One tells about your aggression and other tells about your courage to do things. Okay, the next one I will explain that in detail on the another video. So this is like the first video, the basic, we are covering the basic things over here. Okay, now there's another important mount under the Mars mount, which is under the Mercury finger. That is the little finger over here. This is the little finger. Okay, under the Mercury and the Mars mount, there's one more mount called the Mount of Moon. Okay, this basically tells about your foreign travels and about your imaginative powers. So basically this mount is for that. So this mount is for that. Okay, now there are two more mounts. So in Indian palmistry it's called Rahu and Ketu, and these are really important mounts too. Now in Western palmistry, the Rahu is called the plane of Mars, and I don't know what is the name for Ketu. Maybe Neptune, I'm not sure about it, but let me draw it and show to you. See, this area, the center area that I'm circling over here, this area, I hope you can see it, this area, this is called the plane of Mars or Rahu. Okay, plane of Mars or Rahu, you can tell anything. And the other one, this area is called, this area that I'm circling now between the Venus and the Moon mount is called a Ketu. Okay, it's called Ketu mount. So there are like 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10, total of 10 mounts are there within our palms. And how they are the most important thing, no matter how many special signs you have in your palm, no matter how many good signs, good lines you have in your palm, trust me, if your mounts are well developed, that means it's gonna give you so much blessings in your life. The mounts has to be clear and the mounts has to be well developed. The underdeveloped mounts, if a mount is an underdeveloped, that means it's a negative aspect. Okay, so this is about the basic concept about the mounts. Okay, so make sure you wait for the next video. I'll be talking about the three major lines and how it should be, and also about the famous M sign. Of course you have heard about it, and I will tell you why the M sign is really important for a person to attain name and fame. So this is the mounts. So make sure you like, share, comment and subscribe and hit that bell notification icon, and just ask if any doubt is there on palmistry, just comment it down so that I can know and I can clarify your doubt. Let's create a community so that we can understand our palms and we can move accordingly, so that we would know what lies ahead of us, not like a full of utter clarity. The palmistry gives us a blueprint about our life. I mean, like, we can't tell a person by seeing his palm that who is gonna come in his life, what's his name. We can't do that. We can tell if someone is there or if any blessings is there. We can tell that to reading the palm. So it's not only the palms, but everyone can read the palm if you know the basic things. So make sure you wait for the next video. Okay, thank you so much. Bye bye.